Hello, welcome to Mix Training, and today we continue our custom Python project manager. Alright, so what we're gonna do today is go from this, which is the last thing we did, from this to this. Cool, right? We're gonna do all the new UI for today, and in the next video we're gonna hook all the buttons and the new list that we're gonna do here. Alright, so for that, doing the interface, we're gonna use Qt Designer. And Designer, let me open Designer, is this guy here. You can see it there. And to get Designer, you need to install PyQt. So let's see, PyQt, you can get it from here. I'm gonna put the links on the description. You can install it with this command right there, which might not be really intuitive for everyone, but that's how you install it in Windows, Linux, and Mac. So if you don't want to do that, because this will compile some stuff and all that thingy, I found this version which is a little bit older, but it works for Windows. You can install this, and then you are going to have Qt Designer after you install this. For Mac, you can use Homebrew, and I think after you install this, you can just do brew install PyQt 5. And it will work. So try to install that first before you run the Qt Designer, and then you'll be ready. In Linux, you just install it from the command line, which is pretty simple. Depending on your distro, just install it. Okay, so here in Qt Designer, I'm gonna create a widget. Let's say select widget and set create. So there's the window there. Mine, it's a little bit weird. You can't see the edges because of my colors, I guess. Okay, so the great thing about Qt Designer is that you can just design your window or widget visually instead of coding stuff. So if I drag a button here, you can see there's a button, and if I go to view, inform, preview, you can see we can actually preview how the window will look. We can actually resize this, and this is actually just preview of the window. So just to start here, I'm gonna add a vertical layout here. Just drop it there, and I'm gonna go layout. So to adjust this to the whole window, I just do the right click here, an empty space, layout on a grid, and it just covers the whole window there. Kind of snaps it to the edges, so that way now I can kind of see my window as well. So I'm gonna go fast, and I might skip some areas, and that might be homework for you guys, so you can finish this on your own. But I'm gonna explain you the basics, and then you can just take it from there. All right, so I'm gonna add on the top here a label. You can add whatever you want here. I'm gonna add a label. This label, it's there right now. I can actually, if I want to put this all the way up, you can add a vertical spacer to push it up for right now. And here, you can select the label. You can see I have it selected. Or if I don't have the spacer, I can just try to move it. But since this is in a vertical layout, as we did this layout before, it's just stacking stuff on top of each other. You can see the icon represents that. So let me do the spacer. You can see the spacer is on the bottom, and then the label goes all the way to the top. We can change the name here in the properties here. You can see the hierarchy here. The label of the object that's the actual internal name. You can set the font, all that stuff, and here's where you set the text of it. Let's say call it project manager, and we can center it here, horizontal center it, and you can see it's in the center now. We can change the point size for the size of the font there, and we can do whatever we want here. Alright, now we can add a huge button underneath there. You can see there's a blue line where it's gonna put it. So just see the line and put the button there. You can actually delete and select and delete elements. This push button, let's put the text to set project like that. Then we might want to set the font size bigger, make it look better, so the users go and click this button really quickly, which is the main button there. Next, I had another label. We can just hide all of these guys that we're not using. There you go, and there's a lot of KDE stuff that comes with Linux, but it's not usable for this. We have another label. This label is gonna be centered as well. Just center this. This is gonna be for the path, so we can have something like some path right now. Maybe some Houdini path obj. Sub Houdini. So it's just some value there for now. Next, I had another label actually here. Center it as well. And this is going to be bigger. It's going to show the actual name of the project once you set that. So we can say here project name, maybe. That's going to be bigger. Something like 20, let's say. And then underneath that, we need the list view that we actually used in Houdini. It's this one. Let's put it there. Now we have a list view. We don't actually need the spacer anymore, because this is going to push everything up. So this list, we can right click and edit the items and add item. Let's say that we did a scene 1. This is going to list our scenes, but for now we're just putting elements there for to just show us what it's going to look like. So there you go. This is going to be like the list. Again, if we press Control R, sorry, we can get a preview of how this is going to be working. You can see everything gets centered, adjust really quick, really cool. And again, that was this adjustment is because at the very beginning, after I added the vertical layout, I right click on this and said layout on a grid. So do that if you want to do this thing. So now you can see everything looks kind of the same. The button looks weird, but if we put this into Houdini, it will look more style as a Houdini project. So I think we have the basic here. I had in my project, in my window, I had a few buttons at the bottom, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna even use those. I haven't programmed those, so we can actually grab an horizontal layout, put it at the bottom, have it there, and now I'm gonna put a button there. But you can see it's kind of hard to put a button there because it's just flat. So you can actually drag the button here in this list and it will put it there. You can see the button is down there. Now that there's one button there, you can push this guy, put it there, or even control drag one of this and you will duplicate the button. So you have some buttons here at the bottom if you want to do something else with these buttons there. And you can see inside this vertical layout, we added a horizontal layout that will add buttons on the horizontal axis there, which is pretty cool. You can mix and match stuff. So now let's save this guy, whatever we want to put it. And in our case is in Houdini 16 scripts, Python, Brockman, and let's call it like that, Brockman.ui. So it's going to be in the same place as the other file there, all the other files we have. And that's what we're going to do for now. Let's go to Houdini now and try to hook that up. this is going to be still working the same way. Now let's bring the code, and in the code we're going to do some changes now. Again, I'm going to go a little bit faster than before, so just rewind and replay if you need to. So I'm going to import Qt UI tools, which is the tools for importing the UI thingies. Now let's go and create a loaded right here before these widgets, because we are not going to use those widgets anymore. Load UI file, and we're going to create a loader, just any name. I'm just going to let loader, and it's going to be Qt widgets dot Qt UI Qt UI tools that QUI loader. So that's the kind of widgets this needs to be, or the actual object that it needs to be. Now let's create a variable to hold the UI, which is going to be self.ui. That's going to be equal to loader, and now we're going to use a function of the loader that loads the object, the file, and we're going to load that file proc.man.ui. Alright, so this is not going to work because it doesn't know what this file is. For now, I'm going to use an absolute path. So let me just get that path here on the side, Houdini 16. But I'm going to leave that as a homework for you guys, so you can get to this file without using the default or the absolute path like this. So right now I'm just putting the whole thing there. Your homework will be just to get this path somehow and find this file there and load it without having to hard code that path. All right. So for now, let's just do that and refresh here. Nothing's gonna happen. We haven't done anything to the UI. So what we need to do for that is go to the where we set the layout here, and we are adding some stuff to the layout. We don't want to add these guys anymore, so let's just comment those. And now instead of adding those widgets to the layout, we're gonna say main widget, main layout, add a widget, and we're gonna add the self.ui there. Alright, so now that we added this to the layout, it's basically like we were doing before, adding the widgets manually there. But now the widgets are being built with this UI designer that we're using. So now if we refresh here, look at that. That looks pretty cool, and that's exactly what we did in Designer. And if we open Designer here, you can see there it is. Okay, so there's a few things missing, like the fonts are not big like we did here, and you can see the buttons take the style of Houdini. If you have any other skin on Houdini, they will look like a natural Houdini thing, but this works already like before. This is buttons, this is a list, so it's pretty cool. So let's see how we can make this look a little bit better without too much hassle. So what we need to do for this guy to take, for these guys to actually take this size here, the font size here, we need to actually do some style sheet. And the style sheet is like if you've done web programming or stuff like that, it's like CSS. Similar to CSS, where you can just style objects or widgets here. And if you open this guy here, you can see there's some helps here, a little bit of help. You can actually add a gradient or a color or something. Let's add a color to the background color here. You can see you can pick a color. Let's pick, no, let's make it orange. And if I say okay, and you can see that thing's it's orange. If I save this guy and reload here, you can see now that's orange, which is pretty cool. it overwrites the Houdini style, and now it's orange. So the other thing you can do here is just add another space here. You can add a font and say, let's pick a font. Be careful, because if the user doesn't have this font, it will fail. So let's say I'm going to put it bold, and this was like, see if I can see it, like 20, I think. Let's put it to 20, okay. And you can see there's a font attribute there, which is getting a weight there, and a size, and a type. So I never leave this, so I just remove the type there, the font, and instead of 75, just type bold. So it will actually be bold and space and the size of 20. Alright, so now you can see the changes there. Save it and reload here. Now it's bigger, and it's just in the default Houdini font, which is cool. That's what I want, actually. So if you want to add a really nice gradient like I did for my button, let's go back to this guy, and let's remove this background color and say add a gradient. That's another one. Add a gradient to the background color. Now you can see you have some gradients. These gradients are totally horrible, but you can do it, get them as a base. Let's say grab the sky, edit, and there's a lot of thingies here. You can remove most of them maybe, and then just let's go for the orange motif here. So let's make it a little bit orangey, and the one in the middle, let's make it this is not orange, make it orange, darker, and one in the middle, but just double click in there, make it lighter, a little bit lighter, and okay, and it makes a huge code there for you. There's okay. Now we have a gradient there. You can see there's a gradient. We can preview it here, and now we can also just save it and see it in Houdini. You can see there's a gradient now, which is cool. We can actually make the corners rounded of the button if with a little bit of code as well. You can see, let's where's my designer window? Let me not hide that one. Again, open this designer window. I'm gonna paste 2 lines of code there, which say border width 5 pixels and border radius 10 pixels. So I'm gonna okay that, and you can see now this thing is rounded, and even in Houdini you can see it's rounded. It has a little bit of a border there that it's weird. If you like that border, you can keep it. If you don't, you could just say border none, colon there, and save it, reload, and there we go. Now there's no border there, and you can see that's pretty cool. I can style this as well, this list. Let's say I want the font to be also bold, but not so big, like 12. And again, I'm gonna remove this line there. You can just type this if you just don't wanna do this bold. Okay, now I'm gonna make the color maybe orange as well. Looks cool. Alright, now you can see that's pretty cool. You can select the colors for the different lines as well to make it look a little bit better. If you spend a little bit more time, of course, you can make it look like the one I have here, this one. So again, it's just a little bit of setting some colors, and for the list there, for this list, I can set the alternate in background colors. You can see the alternate background color and the background color for getting those kind of lines there. You can see this is one color, this is one color, so separate the lines a little bit better. And if we save this and go back to Houdini, you can see here that thing reflects the colors as well. Okay, so this is all for the UI. Go yourself and make the UI as cool as you wanted to do it. Change the styling, change the if you want more buttons. If you don't want any of these buttons at the bottom, just delete them. And in the next video, we're gonna make this work, this new beautiful UI with our code that we already have. All right. Okay, guys, I'll see you in the next one, and I hope you enjoyed this one. And I know this will open a lot of possibilities to you if you are looking into making Houdini UIs. So I'll see you in the next one, and let's keep learning together. Cheers!